You're listening to KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine.
The opinions and views expressed in this program do not reflect those of KUCI, its management, or the UC Board of Regents. To find out more about this talk show or other talk shows broadcasting on KUCI, log on to our website at kuci.org or check out the latest program guide.
This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Deaf West Theater for the American premiere of The Solid Life of Sugar Water.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with...
My name is Sandra May Frank, and this is my interpreter, Ellie. So I've been involved with Deaf West for a long time, since Spring Awakening to this production, and I'm a deaf actor, and I believe in doing amazing things and doing plays in different ways, doing new shows. This is a new show, and it's a beautiful, amazing, mixed hearing and deaf cast, and it's amazing what hearing and deaf people can do together once you get rid of that barrier. My character was named Alice. Alice is a strong woman. She's blunt, she's not afraid to speak her mind, she can do anything. And she shows her vulnerability throughout the show, especially as a woman, and how women face different things. They have to do more work emotionally and what have you, and Alice finds a way through that.
Great. If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Really, you don't set any expectations. Don't come in with any expectations. This is not the kind of show that people leave with in the same mindset. It's the kind of show that provokes people's feelings. Some people have experienced this, and some people know people who've experienced this. Everyone's gone through a relationship in their life, and the love-making process in this show. Just really, the point is, don't expect anything. Just show up and watch and see what happens.
Well, I really love the piece because basically whenever I see deaf theater, I think this is my third deaf piece I've seen, I'm always fascinated by the other senses that are heightened, whether it's by facial expression, whether by movement, by just a gyration in which mimics the meter a person speaks in. So again, all this is just an art form in which is unappreciated, in which I just enjoy, the same way some people would enjoy, say, impressionist art, opposed to, say, realism.
Yeah, absolutely. I think really both hearing and deaf actors, there's no big difference there. But like you just mentioned, facial expressions, hearing people typically have the grammar in their voice. They change tone, they change timbre when they're changing emotion. Deaf people have to take that tone and put it all onto their face to deliver the emotion in a broad way. I open up the emotion a little bit more that way. So there's different ways and different perspectives. And it's all put on the stage, and when you get both sides together, it's amazing.
Actually, I also must comment that basically this is not suitable for children. Do you think it was too sexual? I mean, what do we think about the sexuality of the play?
It really depends on the parents with their children, obviously. I learned about sex when I was 7, so I don't know. But really, it's very deep. It's very sexual, yes. So I think it's for mature audiences, and it's important to check with the parents first.
Also like the fact that it's actually a very base type of play in a sense. It's about how should I put it? Good versus evil. It's not a complex type theme, but it's very interesting when I see a play where there's almost like a Brady Bunch, where there's a man and a woman, and they just have a good time. I've seen them mix the cast, where the woman is now African American, and suddenly it opens the world. You see it in a different light. It's the same thing about this. Even though the play was not about tragedies, Macbeth, it was actually about a simple piece. It actually opened your eyes when it was done in this form with deaf actors.
Right, absolutely. This is the kind of show where it's a couple who goes through a trauma and a traumatic event, and they try to reconnect through lovemaking. That's it. That's really the point of the show. There's bad moments, there's good moments, and each individual has equally good and bad moments. Both men and women are experiencing the same thing in that moment, and I think that's what makes the show amazing. There's no obvious evil person. It's just life.
Well, I loved your performance. I connected with you for some strange reason, because usually I don't know why, because I don't meet that many deaf people. I meet a lot of handicapped people, but I don't meet a whole lot of deaf people. So when you connect with a person, at times I'm wondering, why do I connect with her? Why do I have a good feeling about her? Why do I like her? Why is that? But I really enjoyed your piece tonight.
Thank you. It's probably because you aren't looking at me as a deaf person. I was just a human person in that moment going through that experience. And that's a good thing. Yeah.
Okay, once again, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. It's nice meeting you. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Tad Cooley. I'm from Texas. I just recently moved to LA in January, and I'm just really happy to make this my first performance with Deaf West. I'm very excited.
Great, and which character did you play tonight?
I play the character of Phil. He's very neurotic. He's very neurotic about making the right decisions, making the right choices in his perspective. But what happens when he acts on instinct, he makes the best decisions. And the story is about two people trying to find the connection with each other. And it's just something terrible has happened to them. So we try to find the connection back again, and that's really the point.
Great. If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to laugh, cry, laugh again, cry again, and then laugh, and then smile, and then cry.
Well, I really enjoyed the performance tonight. I really liked your performance too. How is it? How do you connect with the audience? Because because I'm a hearing person, that's why.
I think the connection is found, I think like for deaf people who watch TV, you have to use captions. And so the captions are for hearing people in this case. So for example, after a while, you just get this instinctual knowledge of knowing that the sound is happening, but you're following the person and watching the actor on stage. I mean, I'm not speaking, I'm signing in that moment, but after the first few scenes, the first few moments, you feel like, okay, all right, I understand that the person's talking, and now I can focus on the person on stage signing. We're all humans. We're all humans.
Yeah, I feel this piece is kind of like, if you go to art shows, you can see realist art, but you can also see impressionist art. There are two different forms of art. This is kind of like that. If you see deaf theater, it appeals to other senses. You see more movement. You see more, almost like dancing, almost like seeing a ballet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very musical language. I mean, it's tricky for me even because I'm not ASL fluent. I'm hard of hearing myself. I had to learn a lot of sign for this production. It was a challenge, but now I feel like starting to become almost in my bones. So now I can really tell the story effectively.
Yeah, well, I really loved the performance because it was about a very basic type of story. I mean, it wasn't really complex, like there was a world war or anything like that, but something about changing it up a little bit. Like, if I were to see something like The Brady Bunch, where there was this white woman and this white man together, and all they did was nice things, I wouldn't like it very much. But suddenly, if you put an African-American woman in it, suddenly things would just open up. Now that I see this basic kind of storyline, it's amazing when you add a deaf cast to it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think DJ had a vision about this play originally. It was not written for deaf actors, but now, DJ saw it, he read it, and he thought it would be perfect for deaf actors. The story, it makes the story much more interesting, and it tells it in a much more interesting way.
I agree. I really loved your acting. It was very expressive. I felt your emotions. And even though, again, we were communicating almost like in two different languages, I still understood everything. I felt all the feelings you were trying to convey. So I really enjoyed your performance tonight.
Thank you so much. It was very nice to meet you.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Natalie Comunis. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, and I've been acting for the last 10 years or so, and I mainly do regional theater all across the U.S.
Great. And which character did you do tonight?
I played the voice of Alice. I think that Alice is a really beautiful representation, an actual representation of what I imagine a woman would be going through in this really traumatic event. I think she shows incredible strength and vulnerability, and I think those two are really hard to portray.
I always ask that question. What's the actors' take on their character? Because they're the only ones who can do it. Like if you do Romeo and Juliet, and you have two different actors, totally different plays. In this particular case, you and the deaf actress were playing the same character. I mean, how is that different? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think we definitely started with different ideas of how to justify having two of us saying the same words. And it kind of evolved into me being a type of like a protector or some sort of like higher self that already knows the story. Kind of like when you want to tell yourself what to do but you don't listen, like I'm that voice. So I already know where we're going, but we're helping usher her through it. So it ended up being, that was my choice in how I played the voice of Alice.
If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
What should they expect to see? They should expect to see a really, really brutally honest portrayal of a couple in the midst of an incredibly traumatic situation, and there's no guidebook on how to get out of it.
This was just a different taste for me. This is the third piece I've actually seen with deaf actors, and basically I feel that it's kind of a different take on theater. I mean, different senses, emphasizing a lot on sound, on vocal characteristics, but even the meter, you can see almost like a dance to the person's body when they're talking. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think that that's specific to this show. I think that that's a part of every show. I think that every play and every ensemble has its own dance and its own rhythms. And I think that this one is really specific just because all four of us have to really be incredibly in sync to be able to tell the same story.
Well, I really enjoyed the performance tonight because even though it was how should I put it? The story wasn't a tragedy because I basically love soul-crushing pieces, but this added a different artistic taste to it. The way it was presented. You know what I mean?
Well, that's really interesting that you don't think it's a tragedy. I think it's a devastating tragedy, and I think it's incredibly human. And I think especially women are often families are shamed for going through miscarriages and stillbirths. And I know that there's a lot of women in a lot of countries that are, imprisoned because they have a stillbirth and it's their fault. And I think that plays like this can really work to get that conversation going about how miscarriages are actually fairly normal and it's okay. And I think the more you talk about it, the more it can help couples get through that process.
Well, I agree. Once again, I love the performance. I love your performance in it also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. That was so nice.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
Nick Apostolino. It's a cool play. I'm so happy to be a part of this play. So happy to be a part of Deaf West in any tangible way. It's a company that I've admired for a long time, and it's exciting to get to be thrown into it. And I hope I can do an okay job.
Great. And which character did you play tonight?
I'm the voice of Phil. So Tad Cooley is playing Phil, and I'm also playing Phil, but I'm the voice of Phil. It's very complicated. Phil is an interesting guy. If you spend any time he's the kind of guy that everybody knows of Phil, very planning, very meticulous, trying to get things right, and inevitably the more you try to get things right, the more you end up getting things wrong. So it's an endearing character, hopefully, and an interesting story and heartbreaking story to go on.
I basically always ask that of the actors. What's the take on their character? Because like if two guys basically played Romeo in two different plays, it'd be two totally different plays, even though it's the same story, right?
Yeah.
In this case, we have two actors playing this character, Phil.
Yeah.
How is that different? How can I express that? I mean, how's that unique?
I think it's a balancing act. We talked about it and like whether we're the same person, whether I'm the subconscious, and what we ended up deciding was as long as we saw the same thing, because it's a very reflective play. So if you see the same thing and you can talk about it in slight nuances, but the character comes through if you're seeing the same thing.
Great. If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Hopefully something funny, something it's maybe a bit hard to watch, but ultimately worthwhile. I hope, like something worthwhile and life affirming. That's a good word, right? Life affirming.
Yeah, I really love the piece. It was kind of like, first of all, it talks about things that are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's not a tragedy like people die, but again, it is tragic. You know, it's not a comedy, basically. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, but also, it dealt in a different form of art, because it's hard to... if this went through me, it would be really hard for me to communicate. I'd probably just wind up smashing dishes. But this is what it's like. You communicate in a different way, not through words, but through kind of memories, kind of through body movements, kind of through gyrations. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're trying to express something that's wholly, usually unexpressible, and I think theater's an ideal medium to do that, and especially with the cast we've got here, with the ASL and spoken English going on at the same time. You get so many different layers to the story, so it's a hard thing to express, but we're explaining it in a lot of different ways at the same time. Hopefully something comes through.
Yeah, well, I really love the performance. I love your performance. I love your voice tonight.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for being on the show.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
The Solid Life of Sugarwater will be playing at Deaf West Theater from September 12th to October 13th. For more information, go to www.deafwest.org. This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Sierra Madre Playhouse for their presentation of The Joy Luck Club.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here
with Tim Dang, the director of the Joy Luck Club at Sierra Madre Playhouse.
So, question: why did you want to do this piece anyway?
You know, I was the producing artistic director of East West Players, which is the nation's premier Asian American theater that was founded in 1965. And when East West Players did the Joy Luck Club in 2008, it was directed by a very well-known director named John Lawrence Rivera. So when Christian Labano approached me from Sierra Madre Playhouse, he's the artistic director there, and he approached me about the Joy Luck Club, I had to think, this is a really good time to bring the story up again because of Crazy Rich Asians, the movie, because of Fresh Off the Boat, the TV series. And so there's a lot of Asian American stories that's happening that, all around the world now. And so I thought that when he came to me and approached me about the Joy Luck Club, I said yes, because this was a good time to bring all these stories to life. And the good thing about the Joy Luck Club is that it has 16 stories about mothers and daughters. They're immigrant mothers and the American daughters. And so this is what we wanted to bring to the stage and hopefully share with the rest of the community.
Well, I love the piece. I love the story. But, I remember when I first saw Joy Luck Club. Well, they say that, Crazy...
You mean the film,
yes.
The Joy Luck Club?
Yes, the film. They say that Crazy Rich Asians was the first all-Asian mainstream cast since the Joy Luck Club. But when you think about it, for male Asian role models, there were no male Asian role models in the Joy Luck Club. This may have been the first time there was a male Asian role models with Crazy Rich Asians. But then I'm thinking, does that make it better? Does it make it better? Because in a theater piece, you gotta have villains. You have to have antagonists. You have to have the drama. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Right. Okay, so when you think about China, it's a patriarchal society where men could have 5 wives, where men treated the women like property. Then when you think about America and the relationships of how men and women are in America, while it may be better, it's still not the best situation, right? So a lot of the daughters ended up with divorce, in this particular story. So I think that this story reminds us of the inequities that happen not only in China but also in America, and the kind of empowerment and passion that these women have to have in order to endure. I don't necessarily think of it that all the men are such terrible people, but it is more about the celebration of how women have overcome their problems and issues from the time that they were in China through arranged marriages till the time when they are in America and they're quote unquote American, but still that there are issues that they need to deal with in terms of trying to be American, but at the same time they have a history of being Chinese as well. So it's very challenging, very, very challenging.
Yeah. Well, one of the hardest jobs of a director is casting. Obviously, one of the most important jobs also. Oh, what do you look for in casting anyway?
In this particular show, we were very fortunate to have over 300 women audition for the show. So once we were able to call back the cream of the crop, we found out that we could actually cast an all-Chinese cast, with the exception of the Caucasian actor. And so we kind of like went with that because if we needed to have someone speak in Mandarin, that we had that luxury of doing the show or doing sections of the show in Mandarin as well as in English. So that was the really great part of it. But just in terms of casting, what we were looking for were those actors who were able to bring the emotion across. If you think of the book, the film, and then the play, the important thing about the play is that the actors actually talk to the audience. So we needed those actors who were very comfortable that when they're speaking, they're actually communicating with the individual people in the audience. And that was the important thing in terms of telling the story and being able to emotionally recreate those stories for the audience in the theater.
Well, first of all, I'm glad that you guys got an all-Asian cast, an all-Chinese cast, because I remember when the Joy Luck Club, the film, first came out, they thought that they were going to have enough Asian actors, period, to be able to cast the film. In fact, one of the female leads, she was actually Vietnamese.
Correct. And so, that was back in the 1980s, so this is 2019. I think the times have changed. There is a much more abundance of Asian American actors of every single ethnicity, and I think that in terms of the authenticity, that it was right that Sierra Madre Playhouse thought about the possibility of casting an authentic cast for the Joy Luck Club. We did look at all 300 people, so again, we did look at Korean Americans, Japanese Americans, Filipino Americans, and we called them all back. But then once we finally decided in terms of how we wanted to cast the show, there was that possibility that we could cast an all ethnically Chinese cast.
Well, I thought you guys did a fantastic job. Wonderful. Because again, Joy Luck Club was about 12 actors, like 4 mothers, 4 daughters, 4 antagonist males. So again, to get all those stories combined together was quite a feat, and to have this performance done so well was just a tribute to you also.
Well, great. It is a challenge trying to remember who everyone was, and so the costume designer did a really good job in terms of color coordinating all the mother and daughters. The set designer, who also did the projections, made sure to introduce everyone's name on the projections, and then we made it very clear in terms of who was telling whose story. So, yeah, that was very important that we tried to make it as clear as possible in terms of who everyone was on stage.
Once again, beautiful piece. I loved it. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Sure. Thank you so much for coming. And this show runs until October 5th, so please come and check it out at Sierra Madre Playhouse.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
April Lamb. I play Rose in the Joy Luck Club here at Sierra Madre. Graduated with my BFA Musical Theater from AMDA, the American Musical and Dramatic Academy, and I'm so excited to be a part of this production.
Great. And which characters do you play?
I play Rose, who is Anmei's daughter. I play the actor in the Chinese opera, and I play chess player as well. I absolutely love Rose because she has so many different layers to her that I still am exploring today. What's really great about her character is that, she kind of really plays the submissive in what people normally think like an Asian woman is like, the submissive, always following her husband, just doing whatever pleases him. And, knowing my own past, it's who I was 3 years ago. And so just revisiting that, it hurts that much more. But like I said, the sense of discovery is really great.
If my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Be expected to see so many different stories, experience the Chinese culture firsthand. We always talk about tiger moms. We always talk about, just Chinese culture, even soy sauce on white rice, things like that. And you kind of see it from an Asian perspective. And Crazy Rich Asians was just the start of it. And then now, we have Always Be My Maybe as well. And then we have the Joy Luck Club really flourishing and planting seeds in people's minds of what being an Asian is really like.
I agree. First of all, if you've seen the movie, this isn't really like the movie, because the movie was actually, scripted. It was actually a lot longer, chopped into pieces. If you read the book, you might be able to get a little more into it. But this piece actually talked a lot about the trauma that women go through, because you got to understand, this piece was some of these women were around during the 1930s, 1940s. We were animals back then, and I'm just not. If you ever read about the raping of Nanking, if you ever did, we were just animals, the way men treated women, and that developed into a lot of the modern things you see now with the tiger moms, with children that have to be Asian children have to be extremely successful, work hard, but also they're socially awkward. It's like, if you're so smart, how come you can't figure this out?
Right.
Sometimes insulting, and that comes from something, and you see it all tonight.
Absolutely. And just living within that, growing up in that whole era and those expectations, for me personally, it actually gives me anxiety. So much anxiety that I bring into my character that I'm able to use. And that's what's really great about it. My mom is actually coming this weekend, so I'm really nervous about that.
Well, I just loved your performance tonight. Okay, I'm loving the performance as a whole. Yeah, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Come see us soon.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Debbie Fan. I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah, born and raised in the States, Chinese Chinese immigrants. So I know the American experience. I'm one of the daughters. That's my life. So it's really great to be in the Joy Luck Club and experience my full culture.
Great. And which characters do you play?
I play the ancestors. I play Huang Tai Tai, mother of Ammei, Amma, and then in current time I play one of the twins, the sisters of Jingmei in China.
All right, so what's your take on your characters?
Oh, goodness. Tradition and honor, especially honoring mothers and saving face and respect, with mother of Ammei, to the point where I'm willing to harm myself, and not to give any spoilers, but to honor my mother in her last dying moments, yeah.
Great. If my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Oh, lot of great costume, set design, and experience taking you, past, present, through history.
I love the piece. First of all, it's very poetic. In a sense that when you go to theater, sometimes you see something like Shakespearean, so you see this English meter, you see, you see a classical piece and all that. This one was very poetic, so it was almost like a Chinese poetry with an American accent. So it's kind of the Asian American. It talked a lot about women too, about a woman's life.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, yeah, absolutely. This is all about women, which is so great in this time period right now, to be able to tell these stories of these strong women, no matter what continent they're on, and perseverance, and dealing with things that were not always in their favor, from patriarchy to roles that they had, And I think it's very relevant right now to be it's so great to be in a cast so large of primarily women and be part of this ensemble. And yeah, it was great to, I loved how Tim Dang, the director, chose not to have us play into the stereotype of the accents, and that the language itself, the way the play is written, has language built in that, it wasn't necessary. In most respects, yeah.
This kind of brings me to the idea that, because, I'm from San Francisco myself. And actually, I remember my mother's an immigrant also, and she would not tell me that much about her childhood. But she did tell me a bit about her marriage, and it wasn't an arranged marriage. So it was basically a business arrangement. And when I was a kid, I didn't understand that. Because, they tell you, some people, their arranged marriage, that's just culture and all that. They never tell you the trauma that causes a person. It's like, you will never, ever have a happy life. You will never, it's all going to be business. It's just, and then suddenly your family is not just, it's not just a family, it's an organization. You know what I mean? Yeah, so basically you just make sure everything works. And again, what a woman goes through, something like that, it must be heartbreaking. It must be tragic. Yeah, I still don't understand it.
Yeah, I agree. There wasn't, as I've gotten older, I've inquired more with asking my parents about. I knew the basics, and the families there, but they're, to me, very Americanized at this point, having been here for so many years. But what was really fun was one of the things we get to see is they asked for pictures of our mothers, and so finding those pictures of my mom when she was younger, and it just brought up some things like, oh, right, it's not. There's a whole life here that I'm so grateful to have the experience of, inquiry and getting to see how they were coming over, and it was a new, coming to the States. They were, chasing the American dream.
Okay, well, I love the performance tonight. I love your performance also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming and supporting.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
Peggy Lou. I am a pharmacist. That's pharmacist/actress. What else do you want to know? Oh, and then I was raised in Dallas, Texas.
Great. And which characters did you play tonight?
I play Ying Ying. I'm the one that killed my baby. In the movie, she's the one that drowned her baby. I think it's a universal story. It's about a woman who cannot express herself, a woman that got married at 16, and the woman who's been cheated on. It's all relatable, and I think, I don't even think you have to be a specific race to just even live through that. And just living through life gives me the motivation.
I loved the way you played your character. I was just mesmerized by her because she went through so much trauma. Her life, basically, her life could have filled an entire library full of books because it was so traumatic. And also, in a play like this with a lot of other stories, I'm amazed at how well you could follow it all, how well it pieced it together. It's like looking at a mosaic, looking at a piece of art, stepping back, and you see all the colors blending together.
Wow.
So I thought it was wonderful.
Wow. I am touched. That's a very artsy way to describe it. I was afraid that because it is live theater, and then there's a lot of flashbacks, and I'm so glad that you were able to follow it. And I think without the 4 stories of these 4 mothers are so relatable. Doesn't matter, like I said, doesn't matter what color of your skin. Like we have all gone through so much stuff just living, and I think when you come from a different country, regardless what country, there's always going to be that different. Like the first generation that arrives, and then the newer generation, they're embarrassed because they want to fit in. And it's hard to fit in, no matter where you go. Even in college, I grew up in Dallas, Texas. Even in high school, it's hard to fit in, right? And then in college, and then when your first job, everywhere you go, even as a pharmacist, like I specialize in hospice. And you see, most of my patients are geriatrics, and they're still, you can see them revert back as their younger self because they still want to fit in, and it's so hard. It's just life.
Yeah, I agree. Again, because first of all, this is an international play because it talks about China. China's a huge country in various provinces it's talking about. Well, a lot of my friends actually, they like Asian women. They're very beautiful. They said, I would love to marry someone, a foreigner who just came over, an immigrant, because, they're rich nowadays and all that. But they don't understand that, all that baggage comes with them because this world is sick.
Yes.
It's a very sick world. They don't treat women very well. And it's like basically you're going to get all that stuff. So, again, the exoticness, the culture, opening your mind, this wonderful thing and all that, but you got to understand this is a very sick world that doesn't treat women very well.
Yes, still to this day, and I am just in awe, a shock. I'm upset, like how we could get so far and yet so behind. And yes, and then the women, like as in my corporate world, I had to fight. I mean, I've done clinical trials to where I get paid less, but yet we do exactly the same thing. Yeah, and I'm so glad you noticed that from a male point of view. Thank you for noticing that, because a lot of guys are clueless and they don't believe it. They really don't. Thank you. I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, I loved your acting tonight. I thought it was fantastic, and I also loved the performance. No, I'm not. No, I really loved it.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're. Thank you. I sincerely appreciate you coming and supporting the live theater.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Christine Liao. I'm playing Waverly in Joy Luck Club, and I'm working with Lee Chen, who plays my mother, and she's actually played my mother before, and I'm so excited to be able to tell this story of Joy Luck Club to the audiences. Waverly is very confident, and I think it's a little bit overconfident just because she wants to impress and get her mother's approval. But I think deep down she is pretty vulnerable. But I think she masks that with overconfidence. But she's also a national chess champion at age 9.
I always loved that character. I always thought she was the modern day kind of like feminist, because she was very strong. She didn't let anyone tell her what. Even though her mother greatly influenced her, she still wouldn't let her tell what to do.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I mean, she says that she earns more in 1 year than her parents did in 10. So she's definitely worked up that ladder. Yeah.
If my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Oh, a lot of stories of mothers and daughters, and I think joy, of course, with Joy Luck Club, but also I expect to have some emotions, maybe bring some tissues. Yeah.
I love the piece because I think it's a real theater piece. You know what I mean? It's real soul-crushing. I love soul-crushing pieces. I love complex villains. And again, the males here, again, they were all kind of anti-heroes. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's very focused more on, I think, women and the women's journey and their relationships between mother and daughter. And I feel like specifically, I think they're growing up in China, but also the Asian American experience, the Chinese American experience. They really go into that. Yeah.
Well, I really love the performance. I love your performance, and also thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Christopher Chen. I play Canning Wu, the widower of Su Yan, and the father of Jing Mei Wu in the play. And I studied at theater at Northwestern University, and I am Chinese American, son of immigrant parents who came from mainland China. And this play, Joy Luck Club, is my family's story as well. I love the character of my daughter because she bridges the gap. That's June, or Jing Mei Wu. She bridges the gap between the mothers, the older generation, coming to, and then the American born. And I love the journey that her character takes in the play in bridging that gap, but also coming to terms with what her mom's legacy was, what her legacy will be. And I just love that journey that she takes.
But for characters that you played, because you're basically the guy. You are the one who created your characters. What's your take on your favorite characters that you played?
Oh, I love playing the Moon Lady because she's all fantasy. She's all wishes. And our play will run into the Moon Festival that'll be in the middle of our run, and I love that the Moon Lady, I get to play her. And then Canning, I like him being the voice of the missing mother. That's a nice thing to have, a kind of a masculine take on the female mother type. So being the male parents and speaking for the mother as well. I love those two characters the best of the ones I play. And then Wu Xing is of a different time with his 5 wives. But I also play Wu Xing, and he has many wives, and there is some redemption when that the character of An Mei tells in that when the mother of An Mei passes away, that he has regrets, and I like that part of the story too.
Great. So if my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
You will see beauty and legacy and generation. I love the 4 mother-daughter stories. It's beautiful. Our cast is, as some of your listeners know, this is the first professional cast of all Chinese playing Chinese characters. They've never had that before in a production, and we get to bring our authentic stories to the play. And all of us do speak Mandarin Chinese to some extent or another, so we get to bring that to the play as well.
Yeah, they say Crazy Rich Asians was the first mainstream film that basically had an all-Asian cast since the Joy Luck Club. But when you think about it, as for Asian American males, there were no leading men in Joy Luck Club. They were all villains. So Crazy Rich Asians, I think, was the first time they had leading men. But I love villains, and I love the villains in this play. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was so great to see Henry Golding be like the classic leading man in an Asian romantic comedy. But villains are fun too. Russell Wong played the original Watermelon Man in the movie, and he was one of our leading men of that era. But it was a supporting role then. And in this play, we do have that character as well as the Watermelon Man, and he brings a lot of. He represents the fertility and the relationships lost in that era. But I love in this character. It is a women's in this play and story, and Amy Tan's novel. It is a women's story, but the men are important. And yes, some of them are painted as villains, but it gives a nice. There's no drama without villains, so it brings the drama to have the men represent some of the villains, including my character that I play of Wu Xing. He's not, but he does have some redemption, like I said.
Well, I love the piece, and I loved your acting, and also thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Gloria Tsai. Well, I'm new to Southern California. I moved here from Texas last September and have just been really kind of furthering my acting career, and I feel so honored and so blessed to be a part of this production.
Great, and which character do you play?
I'm an ensemble member, so I play a lot of the little ancillary characters. Matchmaker, the family servant Yen Chang, and then also at the very end, I'm one of the twin sisters that she goes to meet.
So if my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Well, you should expect to see stories. It's great storytelling. It's about family and legacy, mothers and daughters and those relationships. It's stories about immigrants, Chinese immigrants specifically, and I think you should expect to laugh a little and cry a little. It's got everything.
Yeah, I love the piece because this is actually very theatrical.
Yes.
I mean, you know how theater is soul crushing. You know how great theater, like everyone dies at the end. Well, they don't die at the end, but basically this actually shows all the drama, a lifetime of hurt and unreconciliation and reconciliation.
Exactly. It has all those things, So it's a lovely story.
Yeah, great. So once again, love the piece. I love your acting, and also thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. So great to meet you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Grace Shen.
Great. Could I get the brief bio of you, an introduction, or just anything you want to say?
I'm from Vancouver originally and born in Hong Kong. I've been in LA for a long while, just pursuing the acting, and I so enjoy it. And the Joy Luck Club is a story that I just feel so passionate and just resonates with me a lot.
Great. And which character did you play?
I played An-mei. She lost her mother when she was young, at nine years old. So I think she has 7 children, so she is trying to do her best to be the best mother she can without having a mother of her own. So yeah, and because she lacks wood, so she finally understands and grows and gets a lot more courage.
What I kind of liked about it was that there were so many stories in it, but that meant every single actor had an arc. You had a specific arc just for you. You were just like this token Asian person in the corner. You had your own arc. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, because she lost her son, so that's the big emotional arc that she has. And everyone thinks she lost her faith in God, but I think through this tragedy, she gains, because of it, more strength and conviction in God and in the rest of her life.
Well, I love the performance tonight. I love your performance also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
Catherine Chen Lerner. I'm an actor. I just moved here from New York City, so I've been in Los Angeles for a couple months. I'm so excited and honored to be a part of Joy Luck Club. I'm also honored to be a part of this all-Chinese cast and be able to tell these stories that I think are so important.
Great. Now, which characters did you play tonight?
I'm playing Lena, one of the daughters. I think she is just trying to do her best, and she's always trying to make sure that she is seen in the best light, and a lot of the times that makes her question her real motives.
Yeah, if my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I think they should come to see a play about mothers and daughters, about Chinese heritage, about expectations between East and West, and most of all, just connection.
I thought it was a very dramatic play. You know what I mean? I love soul-crushing plays. I love plays where everyone dies at the end. Well, they didn't die at the end, but basically that's what this play was. It was soul-crushing. It brought you to tears. It was just wonderful.
Oh, I'm so glad, yes. I think it has many emotions. Yes, many of the stories are sad. However, many are hopeful as well. And at the end of the play, we want people to go away with joy.
Okay. Well, once again, I really love the performance, and I love your performance tonight, too. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
I am Li Chen. I am an actor, and I'm from China. I'm very glad to be part of this production. I play Linda in Joy Luck Club at this production. Oh, I like her smartness, and she doesn't settle down for what life gives her. She finds a way to, move on to get what she wants.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Expect laughter and tears, and you can learn a lot about life and appreciate the life that you have in America.
So, question: how do you compare this to, say, Crazy Rich Asians? I mean, Crazy Rich Asians was more of a comedy; it was more lighter. This was such a traumatic drama. What are your thoughts on that?
I think for the movie, it's more. It's a comedy. It's not all the Asian people live a life like that. It's in reality, not many Asian people live like that. But there's not lots of relationship, mother-daughter, mother-son relationship in that movie. But for the production, the Joy Luck Club, Amy Tan wrote it because of the old generation from China moved to America. Have a new generation. It's about the connection of old and new. I think that's what this play is about.
Okay. Well, I love the play. I love your performance, and also thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
I'm Nancy Ma. I grew up in New York, and I live in Los Angeles now. I'm really grateful to be part of the Joy Luck Club.
Great. Which character do you play?
I play Jing Mei. It's really someone coming to grips with regret about not being closer to her mom and coming full circle to celebrate and honor her mom at the end.
So if my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Incredible storytelling and joy and hope and reasons to keep going in spite of all the pain and trauma that we all go through.
I love the piece. Basically, this is a real theater piece because it was about tragedy. It was about, you know how great theater is soul crushing? That was the whole thing about this thing. I thought it was just wonderfully done.
Thank you so much. No, it means so much for people to come and feel like they're represented, they hear their own stories, and tell all your friends to come and let's celebrate family and celebrate hope.
Well, once again, wonderful performance. I loved your performance, and also thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Robert O'Hare. I was born and raised in San Antonio, Texas. Went to school at the University of Oklahoma. Moved out here to pursue my dream of acting.
Great. Which character do you play tonight?
I play Drunk Man, I play Rich, I play Ted, and a chess player.
So what's your take on your favorite characters?
I like both of the significant others that I play, Rich and Ted. I think that they help tell the Chinese American story in their own way. They are both Caucasian, but they help facilitate what the themes mean. They don't know the Chinese American experience, and because of that, they highlight it.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to see everything, the whole gamut of emotions. There's love, there's joy, there's hope, there's despair, there's tragedy. I mean, really it is a play that encompasses everything. And it's not just the Chinese American story, it's everyone's story.
You know, I've asked this question to someone else before. What's it like being the only minority among a cast of Caucasian people? What is it like to be the only Caucasian person in a cast of minorities?
I think it's wonderful because we don't really... I know that is an experience that people have, but being the majority ethnicity in this country, you don't actually feel that. But getting this experience has been such a lesson for me. I have bonded with my Chinese American family. They have called me their Xiao-Di. I am their adopted little brother. And it really teaches me the importance of representation and why everyone's stories need to be told. Because at the end of the day, we're all human, and everyone just wants to feel. They want to be seen and heard.
Well, I really love the performance tonight. I love your performance also. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much. Happy to be on it.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm at KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with...
My name is Victor Chi. I'm a local to the San Gabriel Valley here. We're doing the Joy Luck Club at Sierra Madre Playhouse. It'd be great if you could come out and check us out. We're half sold out, so you better book now.
Great. Which characters you play?
I play Tin Jung, one of the husbands. The Watermelon Man, which everyone remembers Russell Wong in. Archer in there's like a Beijing opera scene, and a bunch of other characters I can't think of right now.
So what's your take on your favorite characters?
My favorite character is probably Tin Jung. There's a scene where I'm courting Auntie Lindo, and it's just, I don't know, it's so much fun to play. It's a very sweet scene, and I just enjoy it every night. I actually look forward to it every night.
You know, I actually saw the original Joy Luck Club film, and I had some friends, some Asian male friends, who said, first of all, Crazy Rich Asian, they say this is the first film of predominantly mainstream Asian actors in a mainstream film. But when you think, since Joy Luck Club, but when you think about it, all the actors in the Joy Luck Club, none of them were really leading men. They were all villains. This Crazy Rich Asians is the first time they were actually leading men. But then again, I kind of like villains. They're more theatrical. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I made a career of playing villains. They're just more fun. But representation does matter. And if you're always a gangster or something, that's just... As fun as it is as an actor to play those things, you can't help but feel like you're adding to stereotypes or negative views on a certain group of people, because that's all that's represented in media. So this play, I get to play like a sweet guy or something, and it's nice playing against what we're used to playing, I guess.
Yeah, but I thought you guys were fantastic. And I love villains myself. More complex, more
fun. They're just more fun. Why is this guy stabbing an infant in the eye? That's terrible. Why? And as an actor, you have to figure out why. Whereas a good guy is like, I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do. The bad guys are just more fun to play, and you got to figure out, you have to justify everything you do, even though it's ridiculous or it makes no sense to you. But that's the fun in it.
Yeah, well, I love your performance, and I love villains, so I thought you were fantastic in it. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Charlene Liu. Hello. I've been a musical theater performer for most of my life, actually, and so it's nice to be working with Tim Dang again, but on a play. So, it's an honor, actually, to do this piece as far as the Joy Luck Club. Yeah.
Great. Which characters do you play?
I play Su-Yen Wu. So that's the mother of Jing Mei, or June. So the character that Ming-Na Wen played in the movie. I think people can relate a little bit more with the characters from the movie. Yeah.
Great. What's your take on that character?
It is something that I am ABC, as far as American-born, Taiwanese actually, and so it's something that is a little distant in the sense of, I think, like, when you are American-born, you don't realize, the blessings so much that you have in this country that you cannot even imagine what it must have been like for my character of, let's say, leave her twin daughters, like, on the side of the road, and all the kind of stuff that's entailed with that, because she didn't want to have a bad omen for the babies to be found with any dead mother by it, so that it's like kind of a superstition type of thing. So it's interesting as far as to venture into, the history as far as culture and what I do come from and what, my culture comes from and stuff, whether it's concubines and all that kind of stuff that I personally cannot relate to. So you kind of have to delve into that in order to see, what types of choices did they have in that culture, which we have so much more in the U.S. now, than if we were in the original country type of thing. Yeah.
And if my viewers decide to come out and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They will see a lot of characters. Granted, because this is based on Amy Tan's original novel, and so there were 4 sets of mothers and daughters, and there's a lot of flashbacks. So hopefully, Tim Dang, our director, has done his best, and also with some clues as far as whether visual stuff to try and match who is with who, as far as who is whose daughter. It's just a lot of stories and a lot of little snippets, little kind of slice of life thing for each character. And hopefully they'll be able to relate at least to some of the struggle that happens as far as immigrant story. That basically there's always great intentions that the parents always have, and then sometimes there's disappointment because then the kids don't kind of follow through with what the parents had hoped. And then also with the kids then recognizing, like, they try to brush off the culture early on, but then when they get older, there's usually a kind of wishing that they knew more about it, and sometimes it's too late. So I think that happens no matter what culture you come from in terms of immigration, whatever stage, different families have come, whether it's Irish or Italian or, whatever, so.
Okay. Well, I love the performance tonight. I love your performance also. Yeah, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Really appreciate you supporting the show and coming back and chatting with everybody. Thank you.
The Joy Luck Club will be playing at Sierra Madre Playhouse from August 24th to October 5th. For more information, go to www.sierramadreplayhouse.org.